Hey, how you doing? How you doing? Nettie here. Welcome back to Transcending Love. If you're coming back, and welcome on in for the first time. If it's your first time, glad you're here. Whatever the case may be, um, and I hope that you're doing great, exceptional, wonderful, and stupendous. Okay, are you? Are you really? It's my sincere hope that you are. For real, for real. Not faking and shaking, but for real, for real. Um, Per usual, these messages, they've been messaging. And even more so, we are currently in Mercury retrograde. And yeah, the messages usually tend to message quite a bit more during that time, even though they already be super messaging. Anyway, I love it though. I always appreciate any messages that come in from spirit because it's divine wisdom. It's infinite wisdom. It's all truth and all like legit the answers to the things, to all the questions. So I always love that. I love to have the answers to stuff. I don't like to be fumbling and bumbling through this life. I love a good adventure. But if it ain't gotta be Struggleville, I don't want it to. And with spirit, it don't have to be. So it ain't. I just be listening and opening myself up to whatever spirit has to say. All that said, spirit has been talking about making sure that you disarm. Some of you don't really realize that you've been armed. Others of you know that you have been armed. And this is not judgment on that. It's awareness. It's making you aware that you are now safe. You no longer have need of the weaponry used to protect yourself to get to this point. It was necessary for a time, but it no longer is. That's going to be important for you to note and make yourself comfortable with. It's continued work for sure, but the safer you become in yourself, the safer you realize that you actually are. That safety first starts from within. Nothing is going on outside of you. Everything comes from inside. As is within, so without. That means that whatever's going on inside is what is projected onto your screen of vision on the outside of you. So if this world seems to make you feel unsafe, you're going to have to check in and see where you feel unsafe within to correct that. Once you correct that, that out there is nothing. You realize that that out there is nothing. The problem has been rectified within. So now you can stand tall in this world and face all these different people in all these different relationships, romantic, platonic, or otherwise, and feel safe without some additional things going on. Yeah, so Spirit is saying just make sure you do that. Uh, we don't often realize that we are still armed until we start engaging with people and getting close to people. And that is where that test comes in at because you think that you're fine because you haven't had anybody around you to test the theory. You've been growing in silence and in solitude by yourself. So nobody has been around to challenge you to measure the growth. So now when people are coming around, you're self sabotaging if you're not careful. If you do not disarm, it will result in self sabotage. And then you'll be trying to figure out what happened. I thought I changed. I thought that that was different. I thought that my reactions to that was different. Well, of course you thought that. You didn't have it in your face. You worked on it without the test. Now that the test is here, you realize it still needs some work. So just go on and do the work, and don't harp on it. Don't beat yourself up about it, but just keep doing the work. Keep working at it. It does improve over time as long as you're looking at it. As long as you keep allowing yourself the space to grow within that area, that looks like often making sure you're engaging with people and not being afraid. Staying away from a trigger does not mean that you are healed. That is so important to know. That's the whole of the message, and the last message essentially. Just because you've stayed away doesn't make you healed. It doesn't make you over, or it doesn't indicate that you have grown beyond whatever the issues were with those relationships. It just means that you weren't faced with anything to help you measure. So, yeah, that still means that you're not shutting yourself off from the world to keep from experiencing these things so that you can go on in your pseudo healing. We got to be real. We got to actually heal from some stuff. And it's really continued work. It's really continued work. Because as time goes on, you'll be like, you'll deal with people and you like, hey, you got this. I'm winning. I'm winning. I'm passing all the tests. And then another person to come along. They got your card. And they'll test you again. Same area, different face. Looks sort of kind of different, but it's the same thing. And you don't really do so hot on that test. But that don't mean you ain't grown. That don't mean that you're not growing in that area. It just means that you got to kick it up a notch to make sure that whatever it was, however they maneuvered their way through and got that sneak attack in on you, that you set yourself up to do better next time. And that's every single time. It's always that. That doesn't mean that you're not getting better. You have to know that the more you grow, the more intricate um, these tests become, because there are levels to every bit of triggering and trauma and all of the things. There are levels to it all. And the more you grow, the the more they grow. Because the old stuff don't work on you no more. And if the old stuff don't work, we need new tricks. It'll be the same thing, it just look different. You ever had somebody keep asking you the same question in a different way? And you be like, now listen, the first six of that same question I already gave you the answer to. Why do you keep on asking me the same question over and over? Well, the thought is that you will not recognize that it's the same question, and you'll answer it a different way at least one, two, however many times they can get you to answer it differently, because that ain't the answer that they seeking after. It's that. It's that. Except it ain't no reason to really label it as bad. It just is. It is the part of the isness of life. Things just are. Sooner we can accept that, the greater off the greater we'll be, and the better off we'll be. The greater off. So yeah, it's all also the same as people saying new levels, new devils. I wouldn't call it devils, just it has a, yeah, I wouldn't, but it's the same concept. And that if you understand that and that's giving you some clarity, that would be the only reason I would even mention that part, for your clarity's sake and understanding. Um, yeah. So the other part of that is knowing that while you are armed, and you are unsafe within yourself, nobody else can be safe with you. Sounds strange, doesn't it? Nobody else can be safe with you. Nobody else can really trust you with their safety. And that shouldn't come as a surprise. If you can't be trusted with your safety, why would somebody else trust you with their safety? You want to be a safe space for yourself first, for certain. That is of utmost importance. That translates to safety for others. And if you don't listen, I don't encourage you doing it for nobody else. I am not the person that tells you that something outside of yourself need to be your why. You need to be your why. That is actually way more important because um, that other part focuses on everything outside of you when everything comes from within you. Unpopular belief: you come first, always. It ain't nothing that you can do for nobody else if you haven't first put yourself first. Anyway, yeah, and because you are putting yourself first and you are working on and through this for yourself, you want to be able to receive the love that you desire. I don't care who you are. If you say you don't want love, you're a goddamn lie. So, because we all want love in its many forms and many fashions, this is not just relational, romantic love. This is love of all varieties because there's not just one measure of love. It's a basic human need, even. That's how I know you're lying if you say you don't. You can keep lying to yourself if you like, but at the start and end of the day, it's a lie. um, yeah. When I first started therapy, Shawty was locked down. I lived in a fortress. There were very thick walls all around me, very high, very wide, very dense. There were more walls behind those walls. The security, you know how secure a fortress is? That was me. All of the protective measures in place. You will not penetrate the fortress walls, gates, doors, none of the things. But the more her and I, the therapist, began to talk about it, the more I began to see that everything I didn't want, I was protecting myself from. But also everything I did want, I was protecting myself from. And that's essential. That's exactly what we're saying here. That wall, all of these protective measures, you got to disarm because they keep all of life's delightfulness out. You heard? I don't know if you heard the birds chirping in the back, but it's time for brighter days, more for fulfilling and um, singing. I'm hearing days filled with delight and joy. It's time for more of that for you. You're worthy of that. It's yours to have if you allow it. That's the importance of making sure that you are safe within yourself so that way you can disarm and receive. You can give good love and you can receive it back. I'm hearing, you give good love to me, baby. Yeah. I don't know. I can't think of the artist at the moment, but that's my jam. One of my jams. Um, yeah. You give good love. You gotta learn how to give good love and receive good love. Y'all, listen. Love is the answer. It sounds so cliche. We hear it all the time, but when that love component actually like take over for you in your heart, it ain't got nothing. Listen, nothing to do with nobody else on the outside of you. It's not no relationship outside of you. It is genuine, pure, and sincere love from within for you, by you, FUBU. Y'all, it touches everything and it is so powerful. It changes all of who you are. It ain't never been about anything outside of you. That love has not been about nothing outside of you. Now, sure, you, at the improvement of that, you love other things outside of yourself. Yeah, of course. That's natural. Loving yourself is more natural. We've been taught away from that. There's so much fucking power. Mm, there's so much power in that singular love for yourself. Um, mm, mm, mm. Damn it. Oof. Listen, Spirit just said, love is the Big Bang Theory. I'm getting a visual of like a golden particle that has a massive, it's a small particle, but it has a massive explosion. And it's kind of like, it's light though. The explosion is light. I don't know if that makes sense. That might make sense to somebody. Um, it consumes everything, is what Spirit says. Like the light that's being shown in this visual, nothing goes untouched. It changes and illuminates everything. It gives you a different perception of everything. Spirit said it makes everything sweeter. By that, more fulfilling. It beautifies everything. And Spirit is using all of these sweeter words. Somebody will be able to understand and connect with this, but it just speaks to Spirit said it's used, all of the sweet words are used because that's the only way to describe it. That's the only thing that makes sense for what this truly is. Hmm. Thank you, Spirit. For some of you, it will resonate really strongly, and for others of you, You hear it, you get it. It's not hitting your heart in the way that it's intended to because you haven't really experienced love, is what Spirit is saying. Um, mm, you got to experience that. You got to experience this pureness of love, not from another person. Spirit expresses love to you through other people, but it's the one from within where Spirit is expressing that you don't want to miss. Mm. Yeah, you don't want to miss that. You don't want to miss that. It's sure enough good. As somebody granny would say. It's sure enough good. Mm. And it keep getting better with time. It's an insatiable love. It's so good, but it's still um hilarious. Um what is this off of Spirit? Spirit is giving me another visual of it's a scene from a movie. I want to say it's Coming to America. Or he's like, aha. But with that, Spirit is saying, aha, there's more. Oh, and somehow, always, there's still more, is what I say. Spirit knows how there's still more because Spirit is divine, infinite love. But every day I find myself in a perpetual position of like, how is there more? I'm grateful. Don't you ever get that twisted. Don't ever get it fucked up. I am grateful. Spirit really do be blowing my mind. But I cannot hardly help but wonder like how does this keep getting better? I'm grateful that it just keeps getting better. But you the best. Yeah. Go on head on, experience that love for yourself. It is it's untouched by anything else. It's unfuckwittable, if you will. Anyway, golly, that's the message. And I leave you with it in love and in light. Disarm the weaponry and arm yourself in and with love. Oh, Spirit. Okay. We're not done. I thought we was done. Spirit said, there is a kid inside of you. There's a kid version of you who longs for this love, who's always longed for this love. And life and its circumstances have caused you to take up this armor to protect yourself. And that while that's not wrong, it's time to return to that kid version It's time to return to that kid version. There's a softness, there's an innocence. This is for both men and women. And it's not softness in the way, listen, we're not doing all that. This is not about you not being a man and I don't want to be soft, and it's not that. It's a pureness, it's a tenderness that still preserves your masculinity and your femininity. And since we're talking about it, you have both. We all do. And if we talking about it real heavy, or we thinking about not wanting to be soft, that is a really good indication that you need to harmonize both the feminine and masculine energy within yourself, so you can stop tripping on this and harping on this one masculine side. Leave that for the people with the imbalances between energies. Women, same for you. There's a measure of softness that is in there that is required, but many of you desire that, have no idea how to return to it. But it's in there, and your soul, your spirit is guiding you through. This is for all the bodies, the men's and thems, and the women's and thems, and all of the identities in between. The energy is energy, and they both need balancing within all of us. But spirit is saying, and it's showing me a picture of a kid, which is representative of the kid version of you, like a child. View it like a childhood picture of you as a little kid. That measure of innocence needs to return before the world got so complicated. Spirit said it's possible for your life to not be all that complicated. Things will go on. Life and happen, but it don't have to be as complicated as it has been. All you have to do is work to return, make that return to yourself, to your purity, to that childlikeness. And it's really to the softness. I don't, Spirit is saying there needs to be clarification about what that means when we're saying purity. That's not restricting all that you do in life. That's not saying you got to stop this and you got to stop that. We're not, this is, now, if your spirit, your soul tells you that there's some things that needs to be changed to help you get there, do all of that. But this message specifically is not saying you can't be this unless you stop drinking and you stop. That's not what is meant by purity. It's the pureness of trust and love and heart within yourself. The confidence restored in yourself, for real. That is the measure of purity that Spirit is speaking of. That is righteousness. That ain't the way they've been telling you, but that's it. Listen, we are not we are not being looked down upon in judgment by some figure that's like, you're a sinner. You going to hell. That's what we're taught. That's not the thing. That's not it. The infinite wisdom, this source, this God energy is pure love. That other thing, nah. I wasn't gonna say that part. Spirit said, go on say it. So here we are. is out. Thank you, Spirit. Anyway, that's the message. I leave you this message in love and light. And find your love, babe. Find your love. Live in that. Go and be great in it. And until next time, like, share, subscribe, all the wonderful magicness. And I'll see you next time for the foolishment.